Alright, welcome back to the channel. Max Tornow here, and in this video I want to talk about work ethic and how far can you push it and what happens when you push too far. And I'm 31 years old now, soon to be, and I've been pushing for over 10 years now. I think I really started pushing for my dreams and really pursuing things relentlessly when I finished the army. In Austria you have to do 6 months mandatory army service, so that must have been 18 when I was 18 or something. So really for like over a decade, 13 years, something like that. And how far do you really want to push your dreams, and how close do you want to get to burnout, and what happens when you get above it? I'm a big believer in absolutely sacrificial work ethic. I've said this many times before. I used to say when I was in my 20s, I used to say, find something that you really love and then let it kill you. I wouldn't take it that far, all right? But ultimately, I've always been a fan of sacrificing a lot of your own needs for a good that you're pursuing, and I believe that's the only way to really do things. But in a business sense of things, you have to be careful to not get stuck in that paradigm. I've been working with a lot of people that were scaling the 7 figures or beyond the 7-figure mark, and I really noticed there that some people who have been identifying with being a workhorse, a workaholic, they have trouble switching from working hard to working smart. And so you got to be careful to not get stuck in that paradigm. But I think obviously everybody should, just on a personal journey level, should indulge in periods of their life, meaning several years, where they're just working hard, where they put their own feelings on the back burner, they put their own needs, physical and mental needs, on the back burner, and just sacrifice some of it and just really work hard on something that they believe in. On this channel, we've been talking all about having a purpose and working for that. But on a side note, I've talked about this many times before, I just want to touch on it briefly. Don't wait until you have a purpose so you can work hard, but I think the purpose develops, it crystallizes itself out via working hard. So working hard is kind of the vehicle that brings you closer to your purpose. And ultimately, that period of your life where you sacrifice a lot to work hard, it teaches you a lot of valuable things about how far you can push things. And for example, imagine you're at the gym, right? And you think you can't do a single more push-up, right? But then maybe you have a friend or your gym trainer who says, one more, and then you do one more, and then you do another one. And maybe all of a sudden you realize you could have done 3 more, even though you thought you can't do any more. And it's kind of similar with the work ethic thing as well. And you really want to kind of push your own boundaries to find out, hey, how far can I actually push things? Because you get very proud of yourself when you do that, and you kind of realize that you're not as weak as you think you are. And it kind of loops back into your own self-trust of like, I can trust myself, I can do things, even if right now I feel it's impossible to do. Because you're basically just creating a little bit of a track record for yourself of saying, well, I thought I couldn't work the whole day, and now it's nighttime outside, and everybody's gone home, and I'm still there, and holy cow, I did it. So it circles back a lot into your own self-confidence, and that's a very great thing. So that's why I'm a strong defender of like working extremely hard for a prolonged period of time. But like I said, at some point you have to let go of that, and you have to start working smart. And I think, and I'd be super curious to see if you relate with that. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I feel like a big reason why I was always a big defender of working hard was because I needed to use my brain less. Because instead of figuring it out how to do it smartly with less work, I just used the blunt force of my work ethic to just kind of punch a hole through the wall and be like, oh, screw it, we're gonna go right through the wall, instead of just figuring out a way around the labyrinth. But then you can only get so far with just blunt work ethic, because again, you'll be overtaken by people who have the work ethic, but they also have the smarts and the wits to do it smart as well. So that, for me personally, has been a very strong maturation process. I think in the last video I had trouble with that words again, and I didn't learn from it a bit. Can you look it up if it's maturity or maturation process? It's on your phone, just let me know later. Would be interesting to know. So that was a growth process for me to just really kind of learn, like, okay, hey, hold on, you can't just achieve everything just by blunt force of will. You have to be smart at some point as well. So ultimately it's about smart work and hard work, and maybe maybe I'm doing things right. Maybe over my 20s, cultivating the hard work part of things was the right thing to do, because now I don't have to shy away when my wits come to an end. And maybe it's a good idea now to, in my 30s, cultivate the smart thing, the smart part of work, the smart work part of things. And then, when I'm in my 40s, I've mastered both, and then maybe there's another thing that I should master on top of that. I'm thinking a lot about delegation and inspiration and leadership, but that's kind of part of the smart work part of things. But yeah, anyways, I think it's extremely important to work hard on your goals. And I also, to be fully honest, and this might be controversial, I think it's also important for you to find your limits. And there's only one way to find your limits, really, and that is by pushing too hard. And I've had this back in, it must have been 2015, 2016-ish. After 4 consecutive world tours, I've just been completely burnt out. I had been, not like I'm so burnt out, I need some rest type of thing, but like with severe physical symptoms. I couldn't recognize myself in the mirror, for example. That's apparently, if you ever read closer on burnout, that's one of the things, that you have a detachment from your own personality or something. I couldn't bear the thought of being at a dinner table with other people, because if they would ask me something, I would freak out. That might have been from years of touring where, people ask me stuff and I had to be very social, and as a natural introvert, I had very, very little opportunity to actually, recluse myself into being by myself. And maybe that's why the burnout got triggered from that. And it was, again, a very important lesson for me to see the warning signs before shit hits the fan, if you will, and to also just kind of see how far can I take it, and then just prevent that. And if you've ever trained your muscles until failure, it's kind of similar to that, but it's kind of like your whole body and your nervous system kind of fails. But ultimately, I learned a very valuable lesson from that, and I think down the line over the years, I've gotten smarter with that. So is it maturity process or maturation process now?
It's both.
Oh, it's both. Great. There you go. Can't make anything wrong. The thing is, too, though, a very big lesson that I've learned earlier on in my 20s was, and that was something that really coincides very well with the hard work ethic part, was that I got a mentor. And no, I'm not just saying that so I could sell my own mentoring programs. By all means, go ask someone at the library to mentor you for free, for that matter. I don't need your money or anything. But what really helped me was that I had the raw force of things. I had the engine, so to say, and getting a mentor provided me with a framework, a track of where I could put that engine to test, where I could really rev up the engine to the maximum power, the maximum horsepowers. And that has been several different people for several different areas of my life. And I think it's an interesting dynamic if you're a protege and you have a teacher or a mentor that, puts you under his wing or her wing, and you can kind of shine through your hard work ethic, because it gives the sheer energy and power that you have a direction to push towards, instead of having this power that is all over the place. Maybe you resonate with this, you have an idea and you execute that idea for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months, and then you suffer from the shiny object syndrome, and then you jump on the other thing, and then you jump on the other thing, and a couple of years later you have a bunch of things that you've started that you've completed for 20, 30, 50%, but never completed fully. And we're in a meritocracy nowadays, so you don't get rewarded for trying, and you don't get rewarded for doing something 50%. You're doing something when you deliver an end result, aka 100%. And having got mentors really helped me to push into a specific direction, to say, okay, this is where I gotta go, this is how I go there, and all I have to do is put the horsepowers onto the street and floor the gas pedal, so to speak. And that has really helped me a lot over the last couple of years. And that also kind of prevents you from feeling lost. That was a big thing, and that is a big thing to this day, that if you feel lost, it's really, really horrible. It's one thing to find yourself in a rut, to find yourself in a deep hole, but it's another thing to find yourself in that deep hole without knowing how to get out of it, without seeing an opportunity to get out. There's no branch to hold on to. There's no way, there's no technique of how you can weasel yourself out. But if you have a mentor, even when you're down at the bottom, the mentor at least gives you direction and you know where to work towards. It's that feeling of being alone. It's that feeling of of being lost, of being by yourself, of being left alone, that's what really gets you, much more than the actual being in a rut. That is why I'm a big proponent of getting mentors. And I feel it's also kind of sad that nowadays this whole anti-mentor movement is taking up more and more, that people are talking about, oh, like the moment you're basically giving advice on YouTube, you're a fake guru or anything like that. And it's always hurt me, because if you ask my clients or the people that I work closely with, they will tell you that we sacrifice a lot to make sure that they're actually getting results. And sure, sometimes that can be harsh, many times it can be very harsh, but ultimately, and of course there's a lot of fake gurus out there who literally don't care, but for those who do care, you kind of easily get put into that categorization. It's like, oh, you're just another one of these, and then you're like, hey, look, I'm like sacrificing my own personal free time for this. Like, being called a fake guru it's not a nice thing. But I guess, as you grow and as you become more visible to others, there's a certain aspect to that, and you have to kind of learn how to grow a thick skin with that. It's easy to just have a thick skin when nobody knows you and when you have no reputation to defend. It's more difficult as you're getting more and more reputable. And I guess that's part of it, right? And but ultimately it's also kind of good to know, hey, over the last years I've cultivated this extreme work ethic. You can take anything away from me. You can't take away my work ethic. You can take the brand away, you can take the team away, you can take the money away. A person who's come from nothing will always be able to get back up to something because they've cultivated the track record of getting there, right? It really is that simple. So yeah, what can I say to summarize that? Hard work is extremely important. Hard work is something you should cultivate as the very, very first thing. If you can't afford a mentor, you don't have anybody that wants to mentor you, hard work doesn't need a mentor. Hard work is only just you, a goal, and a discipline. And even if you don't have a goal yet, work towards something, right? Just work towards anything, and slowly but steadily, a purpose will crystallize itself out. And then, as you have years of hard work under your belt, so to speak, what you do then is you start cultivating smart work on top of the hard work. And I think once you've mastered, or at least you can never really master something, but once you've mastered to 80, 90, 99%, the smart work and the hard work, then you really become unstoppable, because then you kind of find a way to leverage your own hard work to find other people that have the hard work aspect, so you can put them under your wing, and then you basically just leverage and multiply, and then a lot of people collaborate together, and then great things happen. That's how NASA has probably made great things happen. So SpaceX have made great things. Like any great company have made great things happen because there was one person, guy or girl, who started working very hard, and then started working very smart, and then therefore found other people who work very hard, and then taught them how to think smart, and then you just build systems, you delegate things, you lead by example, you lead with great leadership, and together you build something very, very beautiful. And it's also, on a side note, to kind of bring it full circle with the business aspect, it's beautiful to see, to be part of our clients' own businesses, to see how they come from nothing, and they're just a person who has the hard work within them. Then we teach them hard work and smart work, and then they build a business, they make their first 5 figures, and then all of a sudden they start hiring people, and they start hiring more, and you literally just help them build a company that works by itself. That's a really, really beautiful thing to be part of. And ultimately I want to thank you very much for watching, and always remember, when you're at a stage where you say, I have the hard work, I just need the smart work, and I do want to build my own business, I want to get started with things, then by all means, go check out my website, book a free consulting call. I'm going to link the website down below. There's great information on that and how exactly you can start it. You can just read through that. If you want to talk to me or my experts directly and to see how exactly you can implement these things, you can always book a free consulting call over on the website in and of itself. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and maybe talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, my name is Rohit, and I wanted to share a little bit of my experience with FBM. I'm in the travel niche, and I just have closed 2250 so far. Getting into this program, I think that was something that I was kind of scared of. I didn't really know what to expect, but I think more than anything, it's really helped me grow as a person. It's the program is not just about money, it's not just about freedom. I think it also requires you to become a much different person. Highly recommend it. I've had a great experience with Max and his team. They've been nothing but helpful.